Okay, so you're in Berlin, right? And you want something interesting to do.
Something a little bit different.
Exactly, beyond the usual,
Beyond currywurst and Burkane.
Exactly. You're ready to actually learn something, experience something new. And maybe, just maybe, things are gonna get a little weird.
A little alternative, you could say?
Okay, I like that. So we're diving into Berlin's alternative scene this time, specifically all these events and workshops happening in September and October.
The kind of stuff you don't find in your average tourist guide.
Definitely not. We're talking tantra, we're talking massage, and not just the relaxing kind.
And they're about to get hands-on.
Oh, yeah. Our guide to all this is the Liebeskunst-Netzwerk website. They put out this weekly newsletter, and it is packed with, well, unconventional events, to put it mildly.
It's like a snapshot of a subculture. You get a peek into what matters to a certain group of people in Berlin.
And what's intriguing is how much emphasis there is on touch and connection. I mean, we're seeing lomi-lomi massage, tantric massage. There's even a whole kinky massage festival listed.
It seems to point to a yearning for something beyond the everyday, a desire for connection, for experiences that are intentional, energetic, even healing.
Yeah, like massage with a side of mindfulness.
Precisely. It's not just about relaxation, it's about transformation.
And speaking of transformation, things get interesting with that kinky massage festival. They've got workshops on everything from mouth mapping to erotic readings. It's a whole experience.
It's pushing boundaries.
For sure. But it's not just about the act itself, right? It's about exploration, communication, maybe even a little bit of self-discovery along the way.
It seems to represent a shift from simply seeking pleasure to exploring sensuality in a more holistic way.
Okay, so we've got touch, we've got exploration, but let's switch gears for a second and talk about another big theme. Tantra. Now, I know what you might be thinking.
It's not just about spicing things up in the bedroom.
Exactly. Though, there's some of that too.
Of course. But what's fascinating is how these events are framing Tantra. We're seeing workshops on using it for resilience, for personal power, even for dealing with burnout.
It's like they're taking these ancient practices and applying them to modern day challenges.
Exactly. And it seems to be resonating with people.
Yeah, definitely. There's one retreat, Tantra and Resilience, and they specifically say it's about cultivating more energy in life, not just, bedroom stuff.
It's about a holistic approach to well-being. It's like they're reclaiming these ancient traditions and making them relevant to how we live now.
Yeah, for sure. But it's not all like sunshine and energy flows in the Berlin alternative scene. There's a lot of what you could call shadow work going on too.
Shadow work?
Yeah, like confronting the parts of ourselves we try to hide, the stuff we usually avoid.
Ah, I see. So it's about going deeper, getting real.
Exactly. And there are workshops for everything, it seems. We're talking inner child healing, dealing with father hunger. Have you heard that term before?
I'm familiar with the concept, yeah.
Okay, cool. So workshops on that, and even a whole event dedicated to shame around female bodies.
That's intense.
Right. Definitely some heavy stuff, but I guess that shows there's a need for it.
For sure. It speaks to this desire for authenticity, for healing, for challenging societal norms, especially around the female body, like you said.
And they're using some interesting methods too, like Vulva Day, for example.
Vulva Day. Tell me more.
So they're doing art with vulva prints. I know, right?
That's certainly one way to reclaim the narrative.
Totally. It makes you think, for sure. And speaking of connecting with others, that seems to be a huge part of the scene in general. I mean, the Liebeskunst-Netzwerk has everything from cacao ceremonies to cuddle parties.
Cacao ceremonies and cuddle parties.
Yeah.
Only in Berlin.
Right. Oh, and there's an event for building a live radio play together. Like, how cool is that?
It does make you wonder, what is it about these types of activities that appeal to people?
Maybe it's about creating a sense of community, like a safe space to be vulnerable and connect with others.
That makes sense, especially in a city as big and anonymous as Berlin. People are craving those genuine connections.
Totally. And some events are very direct about that. Like there's the Let's Get Together weekend, and they literally say it's about intentional community building.
Intentional community building, huh?
Mm.
So they're not shying away from the deeper stuff.
Not at all. They even talk about tackling conflict head on, which I find pretty refreshing.
It's interesting, isn't it? How all these events, from the Kinky Massage Festival to the Cuddle Puddles, seem to be pointing towards this deeper desire for connection and authenticity.
It's like this underlying current running through it all.
Exactly. It makes you wonder if maybe, just maybe, we've lost sight of those things in our everyday lives. And these events, as unconventional as they may seem, are a way for people to reconnect with that lost part of themselves.
Yeah, and to find others who are on that same journey.
Exactly. It's like they're creating a temporary utopia, a space where those values are front and center.
Okay, so we've got touch, we've got tantra, we've got shadow work, we've got community building. It's a lot.
It is. But what I'm curious about is, what do you make of it all? Is there a common thread running through all these seemingly disparate events? Or is it just a Berlin thing?
That's a good question. I think it might be a bit of both, honestly. Like, sure, Berlin has this reputation for being open-minded and experimental.
Which is definitely reflected in these events.
Totally. But I also think there's something deeper going on here, something that goes beyond just the location. Like, it's easy to get caught up in the novelty of it all, right? The eat, pray, love fantasy of finding yourself through these unique experiences.
Oh, absolutely. It's very seductive, that idea.
Right. But I think what really matters is the intention we bring to these endeavors. Whether it's tantra or massage or a cuddle party, it's about approaching these experiences as opportunities for growth and self-reflection.
It's not about escaping reality, but enriching it, finding new ways to connect with ourselves and others in our everyday lives.
Yes. And that's what I find so inspiring about this whole scene. It's a reminder that we have the power to create the lives we want, to seek out connections that nourish us, and to constantly challenge ourselves to grow and evolve.
It's about taking responsibility for our own happiness and well-being.
Exactly. And not waiting for permission or validation from external sources.
It's about creating our own meaning and purpose.
Yes. It makes you wonder, what would happen if we brought that same energy and intention to all areas of our lives? Not just these specific events or workshops, but to our work, our relationships, our daily routines.
What if we approached every interaction, every moment, as an opportunity for growth and connection?
That's a powerful thought. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real message here. It's not about finding the right workshop or event, but about cultivating that sense of intention and openness in everything we do.
It's about living our lives as a conscious choice rather than a series of unconscious habits.
Exactly. And maybe that's a good place to leave it for today. What do you think?
I think so. It's a lot to chew on.
It is. But just good stuff. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire someone listening to try something new, to step outside their comfort zone and to see what happens.
You never know what you might discover.
Exactly. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those existential questions. Until next time, happy exploring. It's like you don't have to book that one-way ticket to Bali to find yourself. You know?
Right.
Maybe, just maybe, what you're looking for is right here in Berlin, hidden in plain sight.
Disguised as a cuddle puddle or a kinky massage workshop, yeah.
Huh. Exactly. Only in Berlin.
Only in Berlin.
But on a more serious note, it's easy to get caught up in the novelty of it all.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we're all chasing that eat, pray, love fantasy.
And I get it. I do. But I think what really matters, what makes all the difference, is the intention you bring to it.
You're saying it's not enough to just dabble, to collect experiences like souvenirs.
Exactly. The real transformation, the stuff that sticks with you, comes from approaching these experiences as opportunities, opportunities for growth, for self-reflection, for actually integrating those insights into your everyday life.
It's not about escaping reality, but enriching it.
Yes, 100%. And that's what I find so inspiring about all this. It's a reminder that we have the power to create the lives we want, to seek out connections that truly nourish us.
To step outside our comfort zones and see what happens.
Exactly. And on that note, I think that's a good place to leave it for today. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot to think about.
It is. A lot of good stuff, though. And hey, maybe it'll inspire someone listening to try something new to see what all the fuss is about.
You never know. It could be life-changing.
Exactly. So, on that note, we'll leave you to ponder those existential questions. Until next time, happy exploring.